Guys, let's get into it. I want to talk to you for a moment. I want to talk about some of the things I'm seeing going on now with the market that a lot of people are trying to avoid. Let's go. Let's start the show. Hey guys, if you're new to this channel, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. My name is Mr. Luca Brooks, and welcome to the channel now called Luke Brooks. Now, I really want to talk to you guys. Like, if you're new here, this show talks about passive incomes, right? How to generate passive income or semi-passive. And we talk about money because money does matter. At the end of the day, a lot of us are walking around trying to get money but don't know how to get money, right? Some of us are just blowing our money through like it's water, and we're being in the desert and we're just killing our water. And it has to come to a stop because stuff is not adding up. So today we're going to talk about, the prices of cars. And particularly, I have a book called How to Get Started on Turo. And this book is going to walk you through briefly on what I'm doing to operate on Turo and make money. And also, too, we just released a course called Car Share Genius. That's right, it's called Car Share Genius. And that's a more comprehensive material that you will want to go ahead and look at. That's going to walk you through A through Z, how to do this remotely, and much, much more. We do have support for that as well too, meaning that you're not in it by yourself. We have a Discord group, we have a Facebook group, so you have availability, you have access to me too once you get the course. So guys, the links are going to be down below. Go ahead and check those out. So got that out the way, I want to talk to you. I'm seeing a lot of people out here now buying cash cars because they are looking at the nonsense of prices. Some of these cars are costing an arm and leg. For example, they say that you're looking at the new 2024 Dodge Charger, for example, right? The 2024 Dodge Charger is not going to be a cheap car to get. On top of that, depending on what you put down on your down payment, may be a major factor. Some of us ain't walking around with $10,000 to $12,000 as a down payment. Some of us are typically just putting $3,000 to $5,000 as a down payment. That does little or none to the real value. And then your credit score too, because a lot of people credit ain't together. A lot of us are walking around with not even $1,000 in the bank account, just hurting, living credit card to credit card or whatnot. And what I want to bring out to you is that on top of that, you're talking about your car insurance and then gas as well too, and any other maintenance. So what has been happening that I've seen on the news is that a lot of people are just telling the repo man, come get the car. Come get the car because I'm tired of paying it. And the banks are hurting right now. The banks are really hurting. So the everyday consumers looking at this, right? Everyday consumers saying, I'm not going to get myself in a situation like this. So they're buying cash cars. So it's going to be very difficult at some points that you may have to travel outside your local area to buy a decent car. I was watching on YouTube with a guy who does a lot of traveling, talks about business and stuff. And he got a 1997 Buick, 50,000 miles on it. Perfect car. Only had a couple of things he needed to fix, but other than that, he had no issue. A lot of people were clowning him, right? So, oh, you got a hoopty, this and that. And he said, hey, it's going to be the return of hoopty because people that you notice if you go into areas too, is that if you go to rich areas, now I want you to do this, it's a small experiment. If you go to a rich area, look at what type of cars that these folks have. They may not have the latest and greatest, right? Where if you go to a poor area, and I hate to say this, you go to a poor area, they have the most expensive car. Why is that? Why is there a disconnect like that, right? Because the value of money. And a lot of people don't look at it like that. A lot of people are trying to keep up with the Joneses or whatnot. With this inflation right now, I'm going to tell you what I think is going to happen. I think that it's going to be a bubble burst. If not, it's already happening. And some of these car manufacturers are going to be hurt. It's going to go back to the time of 2008 where a lot of industry people fail, and everyone say they're too big to fail. Like a lot of these companies are trying to do this. On top of that, too, China is trying to get into the United States with their vehicles. A lot of people are trying to discount they're cheap and this and that. Exactly, you're right, they're cheap. Now, the quality of it, I don't know, right? Because they haven't been tested in the US market. But I think it's scary to some of these car manufacturers because at the end of the day, folks are looking at this. Folks are looking at it and trying to figure out, like, what are we going to do to keep them out? You can only do but so much, right? Because the consumer is going to demand it. Like, hey, we want this particular car. Now, they can also do this too, and this is the loop around, right? They may not ship that car into the United States. They may build a car in the United States. And that's a loop. A lot of people don't talk about that. They do it all the time with the Hyundai, right? Hyundai, Toyota, they build their stuff right here in the United States. And a lot of folks say, hey, that gets past the tariff situation. It does. And what's going to happen is that a lot of American car manufacturers may be going out of business. I know that scares a lot of folks out there, but if you're not able to keep up with your demand, you got to address your shareholders at the end of the day. What are you going to do? Are you going to lower the price to get this up? But then your shareholders are hollering and crying like, hey, we're not making money with you doing this, or you keep them up high and no one buys them, because at the end of the day, customers are not going to go broke living in the car. I can tell you that right now. I'm telling you, it's on the news. The news won't put it up all the time. They say everything's going well, but you can tell. You can go outside and look. You could drive on a highway and look. How many new cars is it to how many old cars, right? And back in 2010, that's when I bought my brand new car. I bought a 2010 Camaro. And then I turned around and bought a 2011 Dodge Charger in 2011. If you would ask me would I do that again in this time and age, I said absolutely not. Because if you're looking at the value of the vehicle as far as depreciation goes, it's getting stupid because they're charging so much. You could say, if you look at what happened with Tesla not too long ago recently, the value of the car, when they dropped down with all these new electric cars, it went down really bad. A lot of folks who bought Tesla was like, hey, this is a good investment. And then when they saw the prices tumble for depreciation, hey, the actual value was this, they got pissed off. You could probably get away with getting a Tesla right now, probably underneath around $25,000, to be honest with you. A decent one, $25,000. And I will tell you this too, from what I'm looking at too, it's a lot of pushing for electrical cars. A lot of folks are not going to buy these electrical cars. I can tell you that right now. With everything with prices, inflation, and whatnot, electrical car can only do so much. Understand that you got to have it plugged up to the house and plug it up at a station. And a lot of customers are not buying off of that, okay? I know everyone wants to be environmental friendly or whatnot, but like, that's not going to happen. You'll see a few people come out, but this is a fad that's been going on for some time. It's been up and down over the decades, where we had the gas crisis in the 1970s, right? The embargo that took place, and people couldn't get gas, and folks was trying to contemplate if they're going to go to methanol. Some countries did. Brazil was one of them that had both. They had a hybrid, because when the embargo went away, when they just went for methanol, it just went straight down. So they said, you know what, we'll fix the car where it can run off both. So when it happened again, they said, nope, we'll just switch over to this type of fuel. Is the United States going to do something like that? We talk about it, but every time you have big industries and other outside players that try to say, no, don't switch to that. But at the end of the day, I don't see electrical being the main driver for the next decade, to be honest with you. Because a lot of people's money ain't right. If the money was right, that'd be a different story. But when you are on a budget and you're talking about an absolutely brand new car, and you're talking about, hey, this is the way we're gonna go, it's gonna have to be some incentive. That means whether if the country is gonna come together and say, hey, we demand to have some type of credit, because it used to be where you can get an e-credit for buying these type of cars, right? Or is it gonna be the companies? Is it gonna be the corporations that's gonna run around and say, we're going to have this, but we're going to mark it down so these customers can buy it? What say you? What do you think? You think that we're in an inflation where people can't get cars? Do you think that we're going to switch to electrical cars by the end of the decade? You let me know down below. Please, guys, let's do right with our money. Let's not let the money control us. Let us control the money. Again, I'm your host, Mr. Luke M. Brooks, and I see you on the other side. Till then, Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. See you on the other side. Take care.